Hi there guys, I'm Renee. I'm the owner and artist behind Chicly Reclaimed Decor, and welcome back to another fun tutorial featuring Paint Couture paint products. I'm going to be sharing the transformation of this factory finished piece of furniture into this Asian inspired piece of furniture art. Today I'm going to be going over how you can use and even customize iFlex wood molds. I'll be sharing my blending tips and tricks when working with their acrylic mineral line and their new chalk style paint, as well as showcasing how you can apply faux gold leaf in two different ways, using Paint Couture's Gloss Topcoat and even their Crackle Size Medium. So if that is something you're interested in learning, guys, stick around because that's what we're going over today. To start this furniture makeover, we are going to be using this large Mediterranean trim. This is an iFlex wood mold and the number is 3080. You can find a full product list in the description below, as well as my affiliate link, just in case I inspire you to create using any of the products I highlight in this video. I highly recommend that you map out the placement of a mold like this before you cut. Obviously, like the old saying goes, measure twice, cut once, but it is super important to make sure that your design is even. Notice if I were to just cut 17 inches from the original mold and then placed it on my piece, the design is uneven. I specifically noticed how the medallions in the middle weren't centered. So I'm going to come back through and center these medallions, and then I'm going to mark where I should cut this trim to match up with the edge of this jewelry box. Measure to make sure it's 17 inches and then cut from there. iFlex wood products are a wood composite and they become flexible when heated, which makes them easy to apply to a variety of surfaces. This product is made from wood, so if you're using a heat gun, you want to make sure to move back and forth and not get too close on one area for too long because you can burn it. But as you can see, after slowly heating this up, it becomes easier and easier to unroll. And this is what it looked like after I had it all rolled out. Okay, so I have it marked at 17 inches, which is the designated length that I determined I would need. And now I'm going to just mark a straight line here on the back. That way I have something to go off of. That way I make sure I cut this straight. To make cutting this trim easier, I'm going to heat the mold back up before I cut. Once I have this mold cut out, I'm going to take a 240 fine grit sandpaper and sand back that edge so it is nice and smooth. These iFlex wood products are super easy to work with. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you can customize them. We're going to cut out these medallions and the other scroll accents that this piece has and create a custom design. I'm going to start by unrolling the rest of this trim. Next up, again, I'm going to heat this mold up. This makes the mold soft and therefore much easier to cut. And this is what the medallion looked like just after I had cut it out. As you can see, there's some jagged edges here. So again, we're going to take a 240 fine grit sandpaper and we're just going to sand back these edges so that they're nice and smooth. And we are going to do the exact same process to cut out these other scroll accents. I really wanted to use all of the trim pieces that I had cut out. And this is an idea I came up with whilst designing. To make sure that our design is even on both sides and our medallions are centered, we need to do a little measuring. This drawer measured 7 inches wide, so I marked it at 3.5 inches for the middle. And this drawer measured 11 inches in length, so I marked it at 5.5 inches. By doing this, I was able to find out where the middle is on this drawer, and then I just came back through and marked straight lines accordingly. Once again, guys, it's super important to map out the placement of your molds before you glue anything down. Like this mold right here, I needed to make sure that it was not going to impede or obstruct me being able to open this door all the way. So that is definitely a trick that hopefully I can impart to you. And then again, before you glue anything down, you want to put your molds in place to make sure that your design is even and that your measurements are correct. Luckily, my measurements were correct, so I'm able to move on to the next step, which is gluing these molds down. I like to use Titebond Quick and Thick. I also like to have some water with a wet paintbrush to wipe back any glue that might seep out from underneath this mold after we've set it in place. I'm going to add a good amount of glue to the back of this mold, and then I'm going to take a paintbrush and spread the glue evenly on the back. After that step, I'm going to take my mold and I'm going to set it in place. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to heat this mold back up again with my heat gun. Remember, this makes it so the mold becomes soft or flexible, which allows me to fully contour or adhere this mold in place. And it also helps to set the glue a little bit faster as well. Here you see me warming this mold. And now I'm going to come back through and press it down and take my wet paintbrush and wipe off any of this glue that may seep out of the side. But this way you know that your medallion or whatever trim or mold you're using is well adhered to your design. And then I just followed that exact same process for the rest of the molds, making sure to place them where I have marked. And this is a peek at the custom design we came up with after all was said and done. Okay guys, let's talk paint. I'm going to be using this color. This is Opal Green. It's part of their new chalk style line of paint. And then this green, Evergreen. We are going to be mixing these two together to create this beautiful jade-like color. I thought it was perfect because, like I said, we are going for an Asian-inspired design. I also mixed up this beautiful color Squid ink because we're going to be doing a 2-color blend for this piece. But before we start any painting, like I said, this piece of furniture has a factory finish on it, so it's very shiny and has a slick surface. So what I've done is I've given this piece a scuff sand, and now I'm going to use Paint Couture's bonding and blocking primer in the color white to prime this piece before I paint it. Okay, now that it's primed, we are finally able to start painting. Like I said, we're going to be doing a 2-color blend. We're going to be using Squid ink and this custom mixed emerald colored green. The Squid ink, just so you guys know, is mixed using the Acrylic Mineral line, and the custom mixed green is the chalk style paint. So they mix and match well together and work well together, and that's something I wanted to highlight in this video. So when I'm blending, I like to have a brush for each of my paints that I'm using. I like to have a neutral blending brush. My favorite is this Cristana Trust the Process brush. I also like to have a misting bottle, and I also like to have a rag or some paper towels to wipe off my blending brush in between. You want to make sure to stir your paints thoroughly before you begin. Paint Couture's line of chalk style and acrylic mineral paint both have a built-in top coat to them, so mixing prior to painting is a crucial step. Okay guys, we're going to be doing a simple 2-color ombre blend on these legs. So I'm just going to start out by laying down my Squid ink. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to lay down this emerald green color. Right now, I'm just kind of mapping out where this blend is going to begin. And then using my neutral blending brush, I'm just going to move in a side-to-side motion right at that dividing line. I like to clean my neutral blending brush between blends. That way, none of my colors get muddied. And then I'm going to follow that exact same process to blend out this other leg. Okay guys, I've got another tip for you. If you're ever working with ornate detailed molds like this, or you're working with a furniture that has spindles, these round oval brushes are absolutely perfect for getting into all those little nooks and crannies, much easier than a straight angled brush. I've had a lot of people ask, can you blend over molds? Yes, you can, and that's what I'm going to be showcasing here. So what I want is I want to have this darker squid color in the middle, blending out into that jade colored green. So once again, this is the first blend, and I'm just kind of mapping out where I want the blend to begin. You can see here, I start blending 2 different ways. First, I start blending in a circular motion, but you know, I really just didn't like how that looked. So I came back through and I decided to use my Trust the Process brush, and I just did a little side to side and up and down motion. And I'm going to show you slower here. So same thing, we're going to lay down our Squid ink. And then I'm going to come back through with that emerald color and lay it down just around that black. On this day, I had a really hot fire going in the house, so I needed to spritz to make blending easier. And what I did is I went back and forth and then up and down, and then I finished this blend by going back and forth. And this is what it looks like after that second blend was complete. Next, we're going to finish doing the second blend on these legs. Sometimes when you're blending, you're just not getting that blend that you want. That's okay. It's okay to come back later and try again. That's what I did, and the third time was the charm for me. And this is what it looked like after all of that blending was done. Next up, we're going to start some detail work. We're going to start out by using this color Gold Mine. This is part of their Lux Metallics, and it is an absolute gorgeous yellow gold. And we are going to be dry brushing this color over these molds. Dry brushing is a technique where you have very little paint on your brush. I am light-handedly brushing along the edges of this mold so it can catch and accent this beautiful carved design. So my inspiration behind designing these rosette medallions in particular came from seeing an old Oriental wardrobe. It had ornate wood carvings in it that looked like they had been gold plated, but like I said, it was aged, and that is the look I was going for here. So of course, I'm going to be working with a little gold foil, and I'm going to be applying it with Paint Couture's Extreme Guard Gloss Topcoat. I like to have a little makeup brush or a paintbrush that has nice, soft bristles. So I'm going to be taking the Gloss Topcoat, and I am just going to apply it where I want my gold foil to stick. Just think of it as glue. Wherever you put it, your gold foil should stick to it. Then I'm going to take my faux gold leaf, gently lay it over top, and even more gently use my makeup brush to press it down into the area where I have applied this gloss top coat. Some things to keep in mind when using top coat versus an actual size medium. Top coat will dry on you quickly, so you need to work fast. Unlike a size medium that stays tacky, you will need to apply more top coat and then put more foil on if you need to fix any little chips in your foil. You also will need to use a gloss top coat in order to keep the high sheen finish that gold leaf has. Once I have allowed time for that top coat to dry, I use my makeup brush and I wipe off any excess gold foil. As you can see, I have some areas where my gold foil didn't take. So like I said, I'm just gonna come back through, apply more of the top coat, add another piece of gold leaf over top of that, and then just press it into the design. And then to seal this gold foil, I'm just going over it with that paintbrush that was loaded with the Extreme Guard top coat. So for me personally, if I'm going for a shabby chic look to my gold foil, top coat is the product that I use. Next up, we are going to be using Paint Couture's Venetian Bronze, which is part of their Lux Metallics line, as a glaze. There are two reasons that I'm doing this. One, because I want to add that aged element, and two, because I want to bring out still all these beautiful, intricate, ornate carved details in these iFlex wood molds. Then I'm going to take a rag or a paper towel and wipe back any excess glaze that is over top, revealing that beautiful gold leaf that we did, as well as accenting all these wood carvings. Okay guys, here's a side-by-side comparison of the finished aged gold-plated medallion compared to the original dry brushed mold with the gold leaf in the middle. And then I just continued on using that same exact process to paint the rest of these medallions. It took a few steps, but I think I got the look that I was going for. Up next, I'm going to accent this piece with this Pheasants and Peonies Rub-On Transfer by Redesign with Prima. Transfers are a super simple way to add an artistic element to a piece of furniture. You simply lay down the transfer where you would like it, rub it, and simply pull back the sheet over top to reveal a beautiful, intricate design just like this. As you can see, there's a bird theme to this jewelry armoire makeover, so I also used this, a bird song gold foil transfer by Katja. As you can see, I have cut out the design that I wanted, placed it where I would like, and I've simply gone about using this wooden transfer tool to burnish the design into place. Let's really quickly go over how I designed the top of this jewelry armoire. So I wanted a raised stencil design, but I'm going to use Paint Couture's Crust Texture Medium to create this look that I want. Crust Texture has natural minerals in it, so it has, like I said, a crusty textured look that I really wanted for this cherry blossom stencil. When I'm working with crust, I like to apply it with a gloved hand. As you can see, I am simply smoothing the crust texture over this stencil design, making sure to get into all the little nooks and crannies. And then I'm going to wipe back any excess that may be on top. And I'm going to pull my stencil off, making sure to start from one direction, all while pulling upward. And then I just continued with that same technique until I was happy with this cherry blossom design. Next up, I'm going to accent this design with Paint Couture's Lux Metallic color in Gold Mine. And to make this easy, I'm simply just going to lay my stencil back over top of the raised stencil designs that I've created and just stipple my paint over top as if I were just doing a regular old stencil. And here's a peek at the finished cherry blossom design, all accented with Paint Couture's Gold Mine Metallic. Here I'm using Venetian Bronze to paint the hardware that's on this piece to match my knobs. iFlex wood molds, as well as being paintable, stainable, and sandable, are also drillable. So I'm just going to drill a hole right through the middle of this mold and then attach my hardware knob like so. I wanted these knobs to really be special and match the rest of this furniture design. So once again, I'm working with a little gold foil, but this time we are going to be using Paint Couture's Crackle Medium to apply the gold leaf. But before we get to that step, one trick that I have up my sleeve is I will pre-paint the area that I'm going to be covering in gold foil with a gold paint. This is Gold Mine. It is a very yellow gold, so the tones of it work well with that of the gold foil. Now, the reason I do this is because if per se my gold leaf isn't perfect, there are cracks or maybe chips, I have noticed that it is less noticeable with the gold paint being underneath. We're going to be using Paint Couture's Crackle Size Step 1 to apply the gold leaf this time. Now you're probably asking, Renee, why are you using a crackle medium to apply this gold leaf? Well, I'm going to tell you. So this crackle medium, as it dries, it becomes tacky. So it acts like a regular gold leaf size in that aspect. And you also have way more working time, I've noticed, when working with the Crackle Size Medium versus the top coat. Just like before, I'm applying this size medium where I want my gold leaf to stick to. After a bit, this Crackle Size Medium will become tacky to the touch. And that is when I take my gold foil, gently lay it over top, take my makeup brush and gently press it in to the area that I have applied the medium to. Then I'm going to take my round, soft bristled Happy Creating brush by Cristana and slowly start knocking off the excess gold leaf. As you can see here, I'm using my finger to run along the outside edge on the knob just to knock off that extra gold leaf. And then I'm going to come back through, like I said, with that round bristled brush, and I'm just going to simply brush over top to burnish the gold foil into the Crackle Size Medium and to remove any excess foil. As you can see, using the Crackle Size Step 1 Medium really enabled me to get that flawless gold leaf look that I was going for. And now, just like before, we are going to take the Venetian bronze and use it as a glaze to add some age and to bring out all the beautiful details. So if you are going for a traditional gold leaf look, I would definitely recommend using the Crackle Step 1 Size Medium to apply your gold leaf. Here's a little side-by-side comparison of what these knobs looked like before and after. All sealed with Extreme Guard top coat and a little tassel to top off this Asian-inspired design. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial using Paint Couture paint and iFlex wood molds. And I hope I've inspired you to pick up your paintbrush and do a little creating of your own. I'm Renee. I am the owner and artist behind Chicly Reclaimed Decor. You can follow me for more furniture flips as well as painting tips. And please do like, comment, and subscribe for more painting tutorials using Paint Couture paint.